Good evening, everyone. Are you able to listen? Hello.
Yes, yes. Hello.
So, good evening, everyone. Today we are here to learn Java. So, I want to know that what all you know or someone is already know Java or some other programming language in which you are skilled. Would like to.
I want to learn Android development. So I'm doing Flutter right now. I also
Android
did that.
development through Java.
I was doing it from Flutter, from the script training.
Oh, great.
Happened this last month. So I
That's
thought I learned Java too.
oh, that's great. Anyone else? Anyone else who is skilled in Java or any other programming language with
Hello, ma'am.
hello.
हाँ मैम, I am good in C++ and Python, and I know
That's great.
I know the basics Java, core Java, but not master.
Okay. Anyone else? Then let's start. So here we are for learning Java and what's Java? Java, why should we learn Java? Today we will learn the basic that what is the use in industry for Java, where does Java stands, why should we learn it, so that what why should we learn it, what should be the future of Java, what if we learn Java and what if there is no use. All of us have those questions. So today we are going to clear all those, that what is the future use of Java, where does it stand it in the industry, and where does we all this use. So Java, I guess we all know that most of the applications we currently run are written in Java. One of the most preferred language right now in designing the applications is Java, mobile applications. And I guess Java is used in everywhere in your phones, laptops. We use Java everywhere. So first let's get started. Introduction to Java. So Java is a programming language which was introduced by James Gosselin back in 1997 along with other colleagues in Sun Microsystems. What was the target? So his target was to design Java program that we should write the code just once and run everywhere. All of the other languages that we learn, that is C++, C, are compiler dependent. We always have to, they're platform dependent always. But Java is platform independent. We just write the language once, we write the program once, and then we have our bytecode generated, which could be run in any of the machines. So that's the main purpose to design the Java language. So first public version of Java was Java 1.0, which was released in 1995 by Sun Microsystem. But in 2010, the Sun Microsystem was acquired by Oracle Corporation, and we have till now having Java run by Oracle. So today we all have certifications mostly under Oracle. Java is mostly supported by Oracle. Oracle has now all the steamship for Java. In 2006, Sun started to make Java available under the general public license, where it can make it open source. But Oracle continued this project under OpenJDK. Over in time, we have enhanced versions of Java, and currently the latest version which we have in the market is Java 14. But the most probably used Java version is Java 1.8, since it was the most stable version till now we got, and the another stable version which we got after 1.8 was Java 11. But still, most of us prefer Java 1.8 because it was the most stable version till now we got. So now question comes, why should we learn Java? One of the biggest reasons that I already told you Java is so popular is because of its platform independence. We can write program once and we can run it everywhere. Any machine which has Java runtime installed, it can run Java programming on it. So that was the main purpose for designing Java and for developers to learn Java, so that we don't have to write our programs again and again for different machines and run it. So what are the other things? Most of the type of computers are compatible with JRE. Let it be running Windows, Mac computers, Unix computers, or large computers. Even our mobile phones support JRE. So that's one of the biggest advantage that we have learning Java. And highlighting the longevity, so Steve Zara, a programmer who is programming in Java for more than 40 years, states that the code you may have written 15 years before will still run on most of the up-to-date JVMs. And again, speed advantage is one of the most advantageous situation while learning Java. When the code which was written 15 years ago, it will run with the same speed on our latest updated JVMs also. So Java is not going to get obsolete in our future. If a programmer who is coding for more than 40 years, if he can state that you can run the code written several years back on the machine which you are using today with the most of the updated JVMs, then we can predict that Java is going to be the one of the most preferred language in our future also. Let it be for programming point of view, coding point of view, or developers. Now, Java is a relevant programming language that shows no sign of that it will not be popular or something. It is worth learning. Most of our developers prefer their first programming language Java because it is mostly very much easy to learn compared to other programming languages. Why? Because our Java language has mostly English-like syntax with minimum special characters, and Java is a language which could be learned in a short time span. Its easy syntax made it easy so that we can learn it in a short span time. Let me tell you my experience. I learned it in 12 days. That was it. It was that easy. So what is Java? Java is a part of family language which is influenced by C++, heavily influenced, as well as C#. So Java offers benefits that when you learn the Java, obviously you will be able to code in these languages also, because these two languages also you will get familiar with the syntax and other things. And nowadays, for scientific applications, which for some of us want to go in science development or scientists, then Java is one of the most default choice for designing the scientific applications, including natural language processing used in machine learning. Main reason, it is safe. You cannot breach the security of Java till now. It is portable. You write the code once, run anywhere. That is, it is known as Bora. Write once, run anywhere. It is maintainable and comes with better high-level concurrency tools. You can run it on it supports multiple tools. You can run multiple programs on the same machine, rather than C++ or any other language, which does not allow. And depending on your career prospects, you can take Java on different career paths. You are interested in building games, Java can do that. You are interested in designing mobile applications, Java can do that. You are interested in designing desktop applications, Java is available to do that. Web applications, definitely Java can do it. Java is capable of working in most of our environments, most of our developing environments. That's the power of Java. So let's get to know how the Java came into the picture, how it was developed, when, and how did we got it on the board. So Java is first of all an object-oriented programming language which supports most of the features of object-oriented programming language, and it was developed by James Gosling along with its other colleagues at Sun Microsystems in the early 1990s. It was just started as a project called Oak by James Gosling. In 1995, Oak was renamed as Java. Why? Because it was already a trademark by Oak Technologies. Java, if we know, it is an most of us don't know, but Java is an island of Indonesia where the first coffee was produced. The first coffee we got in island of Indonesia, which is also called Java coffee. It is just kind of an espresso bean. Java name was chosen by James Gosling while he was having this coffee near his office. So he just thought that this was the first coffee. He gave it the name Java, and that's why we have the symbol of coffee on our Java language. In 1995, Time magazine called Java one of the 10 best products of 1995. That was the biggest achievement for James Gosling. And the first public implementation came in 1995, which was Java 1.0, which made the promise of write once, run everywhere the most important feature of Java. It ran on popular platforms. It was fairly secure, very, very much secure. Its security was configurable. You can configure it according to yourself, according to your network and file access. You can limit to it that what it is going to access, what not, which is promising you the security of your application, security of your program. So that made Java one of the most powerful language back in 1995. And being listed in 10 best products by Time magazines made it another achievement. So that's all for the history. Now we all are thinking that where is the use of Java in the industry? Why should we learn it? All of us have things in mind. So my question to you all is, what is it Java used for? I guess Java is used for everywhere. Java is a general programming language. It can be used to create any kind of programs, all kind of programs as we think. Many browser-based applications use Java. They are built with Java because of its machine-independent implementation. The main that it is not platform dependent. That's why most of our browser apps are designed in Java. Chrome is designed in Java. In theory, a Java app should run on a Mac browser like it runs on a Linux or Windows machine. When we run a Java app, it should run the same on all the platforms, be it a Mac browser, be it a Linux, or be it a Windows machine. So we all should have the same UI. That's why Java is preferred. From laptops to data centers, game consoles to scientific supercomputers, our cell phones, our internet, Java is everywhere. We are using Java in our daily life. Most of the applications we are running are written in Java. Most of our systems are written in Java. Most of our desktop applications are written in Java. So what isn't it the things what are not Java used for? Let's look at the stats of the Java used in industry. 97% of our enterprise desktops run on Java. Our Windows 90%, 7%. our enterprise desktops are running Java. 89% of our desktops or computers in the US are running on Java. There are more than 9 million Java developers worldwide, making it as the most popular language and most preferred language by the developers. Number one choice of developers, being it the easy to learn and having the English like syntax. Number one development program, platform. Java is preferred over any other development. It has our mobile phones are running on Java. More than 3 billion mobile phones are running on Java. 100% of Blu-ray disc players ship with Java. 5 billion Java cards are in use. Our TV devices running on Java. More than 125 million TV devices are running on Java. And 5 of the top 5 original equipments ship Java ME. Everywhere we are equipped with Java. We are using it Java everywhere. Till now, any doubt that why shouldn't we use Java or something? Anything? Anybody want to ask? That is there anything that other language should be preferred or you want to ask?
I started learning Flutter because it was we can make apps for both iOS and Android at the same time.
Yeah,
So
I
my
know it. That's a good language. I'm not saying. I am
I
telling you.
superior than Flutter. I want to learn that.
Yeah, Java is easier than Flutter. I wouldn't say that Flutter is bad. Obviously, Flutter is one of the language which is used to for cross-platform development of apps. Good. Anyone else that have doubts still that why shouldn't we use Java or why Java is preferred in this industry? What are its speciality? Anything? Okay, then let's get on to the IDs for Java. We have multiple IDs, I guess more than 15, 20, more than rapid number of IDs available for working on Java. But here I am going to list the 3 most popular IDs that we use in our industry for Java. Java is a popular language. We have ample number of IDs that on which you can run their language. These platforms help in the application development process very smoothly. When you make your applications, when you make your programs, these IDEs are of a great help. By using them, you save time and effort, as well as we create a standard development process in our team or company. Well, there are many popular IDEs in the world, but I am listing here 3 most popular, which are as Eclipse, IntelliJ IDEA, and NetBeans. Other IDs that we use are VS Code, which is the most popular preferred by developers, and I prefer using Eclipse because it is one of the most flexible and give multiple suggestions while writing programs. It gives Git support to us, which is one of the most latest demand in the industry. Whenever we go anywhere, one of the most demand come forward is, do you have any Git repository? Do you have any Git? So Eclipse makes it very easy there. And there are many other IDs which we can use, but here I am with 3 topmost. So first time here, Eclipse. Eclipse is the ID which is one of the 3 biggest and most popular IDs for the Java in the world. It can be used to develop applications. It can be used to develop mobile applications. It can be used to develop desktop applications also by using Java plugins. So what are the features which makes it Eclipse special? First of it's plugin development environment where you can use different plugins for designing different applications. We have Eclipse Oxygen for designing serverlet applications, for designing Java's JSP applications different and is available for Eclipse in that want to create special. We have always our applications have specific functionalities. There, this environment is always there to save us. Then it has powerful tools for various processes in application development, such as charting. We can make charts in Eclipse. We can make charts through the plugin development environments in Eclipse. Then we can make models. We can do testing. It offers the debugging feature different. So it makes Java developers a very convenient to use it and fast. Eclipse can be also used to create various mathematical documents with LaTeX and using the TextLabs plugin as well as packages for mathematical software. Some of us are in mathematical and we want to design some softwares for mathematics. Here Eclipse plugin, LaTeX and TextLabs would help. It would definitely help you create your project, your application very smoothly. And it can be used on platforms Linux, Mac OS, Solaris, and Windows. So almost it supports all the platforms, making it one of the most preferred top 3 IDEs. So next we have IntelliJ IDEA. IntelliJ IDEA is also one of the most preferred IDE in the industry. It has two open versions. It has two versions. One is free open source community and other is a paid ultimate version. Free version also supports almost all of the features. So let's get to know some of the features that IntelliJ IDEA offers. Both versions of our IntelliJ IDEA supports various programming languages. It supports Java, Scala, Kotlin, Groovy, etc. Kotlin is one of the languages which is preferred in application development. So it supports multiple languages, making it one of the most preferred in the industry. It offers many features that are like which makes programming simpler, like debugging, code completion, code inspections, XML editing support, code refactoring, unit testing. We can test our code individually. We can test each line, which makes our programming simpler and easy. Some of the other tools that are offered in only paid version are duplicate detection. When we have duplicate files, duplicate programs, then it are offered in paid version. JavaScript also it supports database tools, performance integration, etc. And it can be used on platforms like Linux, macOS, and Windows. That is almost all the platforms we are using most of these. So that is the main use. Now comes the NetBeans, which all of us starts with in our schools if we are learning Java. So there we always given NetBeans ID to start with because it is also one of the most preferred ID and part of the three biggest IDs of the Java. So this is an open source ID which allows Java programmers to build applications using module sets. Some of the features of NetBeans are as follows. It is available for variety of operating systems like Linux, Mac OS, Solaris, etc., making it available for all the platforms. It is also available in a feature limited OS independent version where you can download just in a pen drive and you can install it in anywhere, run anywhere. That is a limited version and it is called OS independent, that you can run it on any OS, not preferably downloading that I want to download it for Windows, I want to download it for Linux. You can download it once, which is called OS independent, and you can run it on different OS. And it is very easy to create custom software applications using NetBeans, as it highlights Java code syntactically as well as semantically. Also, there are many tools which helps in us in writing the bug-free code. NetBeans is primarily a Java IDE, but it has also extensions for other languages which you can use, such as C, C++, PHP, all HTML5, JavaScript, etc. So it will also make us easy when we have our JSP applications, we have some use of HTML. So there it makes us easy we don't have to download different plugins. There, the NetBeans is extremely helpful. Then NetBeans can be used on different platforms as we discussed above: Linux, Mac OS, all recent Windows. That's all for the IDs. So I would like to know that which ID you like the most out of the three.
Now I use VS and Android Studio.
Sorry?
VS and Android Studio I use.
Okay.
I had another question. I was asking, is Kotlin better than Java in Android development?
Yeah.
Is Kotlin better than Java for Android development, particularly?
For particularly Android development, Java is
With Kotlin better?
Kotlin is the language which was introduced by Google officially, if we say. We just learn, people are running behind just because it was introduced by Google. But when I say Java is much easier to learn, and Java makes your fundamentals strong while learning Android development. I have seen people learning Kotlin just because it was introduced by Google and Google is using it, so we will learn it. But then Google introduced Flutter for multiple platform development. So there people started ignoring Kotlin. Now people are running behind Flutter or React for platform independent applications. So every day we are coming new things in the industry and we are running towards it. We don't even think that whether it has use, with how long will it going to be used. But I can tell you that even after 40 years, Java is going to be there. Java is the second most preferred language in the world till now. A programmer 40 written code 40 years is still running on our machines. What else? We have our computers developed much than that, and still we have those codes running on our Java application codes are so light that it can be run on the in the laptops with RAM less than 500 MB. I have my teacher who is running his applications on the RAM less than 500 MB. What can we expect? Any other question or any other suggestion that we should use other IDs or something? Definitely, I would like. Anyone else? No one else is there. Anyone else doubts on Java? That why should we use? We have other people, I guess. Andrela Das, Aishwarya Jadhav, Shweta, Sushma. Nobody wants to ask anything. Are you guys there? I guess everyone has just started the video. Andrela, Sakshi,
Someone typed in the chat.
sorry.
They are replying in chat.
Mac or Linux. Well, Mac or Linux both have their security. Linux is always preferred for security, and Mac is, we can say, is costly just because of its security. So when we say that we can go for, we can pay more, we prefer Mac. But Linux is one of the most preferred one of the most preferred platform in industry. Whenever in industry we use Linux rather than Windows. So I would say suggest if you are using a laptop with basic specifications, you can go for Linux definitely. But if you are a specific that no, I want to use Apple devices, I want to use Mac devices, then you can go for Mac OS definitely. But I would suggest to go with Linux because it is mostly preferred in our industry. And most of the companies use Linux platform. So I would suggest to go with Linux. Anything else? There are some background noises from somewhere. Vivek, right? Okay, then let's get on to our next. So I would like to discuss our first Java program. What parameters we are going to use in our Java program? Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Vivek. So what parameters we are going to use in our Java program? How we are going to write it? What things will we use? So let's see. If anyone is familiar with Java, anyone has written some simple program, I would say if someone has written hello world program also, I would like to know in Java. If anyone, Endeler. Okay, so okay, we have most of them replying yes or a beginner. So definitely we know that it starts with Java is an object-oriented programming language and it is completely object-oriented where our program starts with class and objects. Nothing can be done without class and object in our Java. If we want to write in our program, we have to use class and object, which is the main reason for the Java being secure and one of the most strong language in our industry. So when we were writing that program, first program of Java, that we have used word class, static while writing the main line, public static void main. We all just copied it or we just get to know into the deep meaning that what does it mean? Why are we using those words? Why are we using class? Why are we using static keyword? What is the speciality that static is used in the main function? And why every time we are starting with the main function? Can't we have program without the main function? Why we are using string args only? I guess these doubts should become because if you have doubts, then we can learn. That's making us that make us grow. Everything we are using, we should know that why we are using. So let's get to know what the different things in our program means, like class, public static, void, main, string RJS, and system.println. I guess these were the things which we use in the first program. So let's get to know about it. Class keyword which we use. It is definitely Nadia. We use main method because our execution starts from there only. You are correct. Our JVM finds the main method first to start our execution there only. So let's get to know about these keywords while we are using. So class keyword is used to declare the class in Java. Our object-oriented programming language has mainly 6 paradigms which we use. Two of them are class and objects, which are the root of Java programming language. Every Java programming language has these two words, class and object. Everything in Java, I guess, is Java object. Definitely, sure, string data type can other accommodate, but there we have to use parsing also. No, main method is not like shutdown button of your computer. It is the beginning of your program. Main method is definitely not like shutdown button of your computer. So we have the two paradigms, that is class and object, in our Java language as its root. Everything in our Java language is an object, and we define everything in a class. So class keyword is used to declare a class in Java, and public keyword is used because it is an access modifier. We all have three access modifiers: public, private, and protected, which we are going to learn. So public keyword gives us the visibility. It represents visibility. It means that it is visible to all. We do not have to create separate objects, or it is not private that we cannot use it. Public keyword is an access modifier which represents visibility, that is, it is visible to all. Now static. Static is a keyword. If we declare any method as static, it is known as static. If we are using Java, if someone has said that I am an intermediate user of Java, he should know that most of us declare our methods as static and non-static, and I guess we developers prefer to declare our methods as static method. Core advantage of the declaring the static method is that we don't need any object to invoke the method. Yeah, Bhavesh, exactly. It can be accessed with class names. It can be accessed with class names without an object. We can use class names to access it. We don't need to create an object. Whereas we have to create an object while using a non-static method. And the main method is executed by the JVM. So obviously we do not require any object to invoke the main method. If we create non-static main method, then we will require object, and it will just create a mess while the JVM is executing, while our machine is at. So that's why we use static keyword, so that our JVM can easily find the main method. It does not have to create any object, and it can start its execution. It saves memory. Void. Void is a return type of method. It means that it does not return any value. We can use different keywords to define our methods. Main method is our mainly void method because they are not returning from there. Our execution starts from it and our execution ends from there. Whenever we exit the main method, our execution ends then and there only. So that's why the reason is that the main method is void return type. While we define other methods in Java, we can declare different return types like int, float, according to our need, according to our flexibility. Then main, definitely we discussed it, that it is representing the starting of the program. When the JVM starts execution, it must find the main keyword in our program where it will start the execution. And as soon as we exit the main method, our execution of the program stops. Now string args, why it is used? It is used for command line argument. We will learn about it later. If someone knows what is command line argument, or if someone has used, why we are using it. Vivek, Adnan, Shivangi, anyone? Have you? Yeah. Have you used command line? Anyone? Or any idea about it?
Git bash, git command.
Okay.
I have also used for SQL the main command query language.
Yeah, I know that. SQL. Okay. If we have zero command line arguments, then we can skip this string args. No, we cannot skip the string args. It is the structure of the Java program. Our Java program our Java language is more secure, our Java program is dynamic. Yeah, if we run Java program from command line, definitely Aishwarya, you're right. But we can and not skip this string ARGS as asked by, I guess, Bhavesh. We cannot skip this string ARGS because it is a structure and we have to include it. Our Java language is more secure because it is more dynamically. So here we are using string ARGS and it is compulsory for us to use. We can't skip this step. Now, system.out.println that we use. There are two statements that we use, system.out.print and system.out.println. Both are used to print statements. There is a simple difference between these two statements. First of all, let's get system is our class which is defined in our Java classes defined under. We have various Java classes defined already in our packages. We use multiple packages like util package or mathematics package. We have different packages for different classes, and here system is also a class from which we use a method system.out.print. And out is the object of the same class, and println is the method of that class. So system.out.println and system.out.print have exactly Nadia is right. Println prints in the new line and print prints in the continuation. It does not take the cursor to the new line, whereas the println takes the cursor to the new line. So any doubt? Anyone having any doubt?
Is this a beginner course or intermediate?
Sorry,
Is this an intermediate course or beginner?
we have two different courses running in Java: Core Java and Advanced Java. Core Java focuses on the making your basics strong, and Advanced Java deals with the JSP and other advanced
What are
Java
we?
concepts.
Because I have no knowledge of some syntax.
You have knowledge of Core Java, you want to say.
I know how to use classes objects. But I don't know.
And other four, we have object oriented. Our object oriented, I guess, has 6 paradigms as we define. As far as I know, we define 6 paradigms in object oriented. So I would like to know how much you know. Do you know using other paradigms? Huh? We have 6 paradigms: object, class, abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism. And definitely inheritance and polymorphism, these all are part of Core Java. So want to know how much you know? Would be glad to know.
Hello.
Yeah.
I know encapsulation. I know polymorphism. I
You
know
have
inheritance.
implemented.
Yeah, I've tried you. I've used
That's
C.
pretty good. So Java supports multiple inheritance. I have a question.
I don't know that much.
Okay. That's pretty cool that you know. Great to know that we already have a person that who knows this. But I would say to go for Core Java and Advanced Java both, because Core Java will definitely help you build your basics very much strong. We have a great curriculum designed for our Core Java students, where we are primarily focusing on the basics, fundamentals, and different aspects of it. How will the other things takes place? So I would definitely suggest you to go for it. It will help you in long run. Definitely, I would say also I don't know most of the things that, and no one can be master. I would also be learning. When I was at learning phase, I was also learning my. I was like, when I started, I was something learning from already online. But when I get to learn, I got to learn so many new things. Even many of the classes which I don't know. One of the main class which I got to learn is file class, which I definitely didn't knew when I was learning it. I got to introduce to many classes. I got to know about string, buffer, scanner, but many things we got to learn while we are learning core Java. I was also had a thought once that I should skip core Java because I already knew it the same way you are saying. I guess Adnan, you are lagging. I guess others are able to hear me. Shivangi, Achman, Ad- Aishwarya. So I would say to go for core Java. It will help you build your basics. So we have already learned about the parameters that are used in our first Java program. So let us learn about some object-oriented programming paradigms, because our Java is completely object-oriented. Without knowing these concepts, we can't process on the Java. When we say Java, one thing there you will definitely find in the introduction, you can go to any site, anywhere. Java is an object-oriented language. That is the first introduction line of our Java introduction. Anywhere you find the Java introduction, first line you will find that Java is an object-oriented programming language. So what is this object-oriented programming? What is this object-oriented? What are the things which we use in this? So let's get to know about those things. The object-oriented programming paradigm is basically a concept of objects which contain data in the form of fields. We often them call as attributes, and in our code we call them procedures or methods. Methods, if someone gets confused or using other language, I should tell you that they are known as functions, which we call in other languages. In Java, we define them as methods. For example, we have a person as an object which has a properties such as height, gender, age. These all are properties of those object, that is our person. But it also has methods, that is it move, talk, and so on, eat, sleep. These all can be its methods. So our object-oriented programming binds the object to the different methods, help us in defining certain form of procedures to make our programming language more secure, more helpful, and more easy. So let's define what is an object. This is the basic unit of object-oriented programming. Both data and function that operate on data are bundled as a unit called object. We have learned object is anything that is you called an entity. Everything in around you is an object, you can say. You are an object. We are using our laptop, our mobile phones, everything is an object. But technically talking, when we have both data and function binded together as a single unit, then we call it as an object. That is the technical definition, we can say an object. Or the simple definition, we can say that any entity which has is called an object. Second thing, second paradigm, we come as class. So when you define a class, you define a blueprint for that object. Suppose when you define a class for a person, there you will define the blueprint of that person, that what features it has, what it has eyes, it has what height, gender, everything you will define it in the form of variables, you can say properties. And then you will define different methods, that it walks, sleeps, eat, move, talk, etc. These all will together will form the object, and in using class you will define the blueprint for that object. It does not actually define any data, but it will define that what the class name means. That is what an object of the class will consist of and what operations can be performed on such an object. We all define classes in Java, and we definitely keep the our class name usually simple. If we are defining the object or we are defining the class for a person, we are defining the blueprint of a person object, then we'll tend to keep the class name as person. If we are defining the blueprint for an employee, then we will tend to keep the class name as employee. If we are defining the blueprint for a dog or class for a dog, then we tend to keep class name as dog. So with the class name, definitely we get to know that what this object is going to consist of or what operations we can perform on that object. These were the basics of the object-oriented programming, and these two are the most important part of our Java programming language. Without these two, you cannot use Java programming. So now let's learn about the four other paradigms which are totally based on hoops, you can say. Four basic concepts. So first comes is abstraction. What is abstraction? What is abstraction? Anyone? Without this slide, we have some
So
people
I
here.
would like to answer this one.
Yeah.
Abstraction is basically hiding of the details of the implementation. So since I have a little bit of knowledge about Java, I would say key interfaces. In interfaces, there's just the declaration of the functions, but their implementation is in another class. So that can be a good example of abstraction, maybe.
Okay. Great. Anyone else? That's it. And H means external. It's okay if you join the late. Will you get the recording section or not? This will I will be able to not tell you now. Definitely we'll try. Anyone else who would like to define abstraction or any other three paradigms? Any other example? Adnan, Vivek. Anyone else?
I don't have a very clear idea what this abstraction, but as I know, we hide the methods and some properties of a class which can't be seen from outside.
Okay. Any other paradigm that you would like to define? We have four paradigms listed on our screen.
I
Any
know in encapsulation we hide, I must say hide, we encapsulate properties and methods inside a class which can't be used outside from the uh, outside of the class. It's like a black box. We can't see, can't use. It's all inside a box.
Okay. Okay. So let's learn about the other 4 paradigms of the object-oriented programming. So OOPS has 4 basic concepts, we would say. First is abstraction, which refers to just providing only essential information to the outside world, as said by already one of our participants in the meeting. It just refers to providing essential information to the outside world, hiding out the background details. For example, we are using our web servers, we are using our browser. We don't know how it is processing data in the background world. We just know the how, we just see the results. The end user will just see the endpoints. We can take the example of the Google search engine. You just type the words on the search engine and you get the ample of the links, ample of results out there. Does anyone know that what it is performing in the background, what it is doing in the background? I guess none of which we are using in development definitely. But we don't know that what does the Google search engine does in the background. It get us result in a fraction of second that we do not even think, have time to think. We just go search and we have our results in our hands. There is the most best example we can say of abstraction. Second property, let me come, that is encapsulation. Encapsulation is a process of binding data members, variables, and properties and member functions into a just single unit, where we restrict that access to certain properties or components. Best example of encapsulation is a class.
Can you please
Yeah.
explain abstraction again?
Abstraction? Okay. So abstraction, we can say that we just provide some basic details or just necessary details which are required for the outside world. And we hide the background process of the application so that the user does not get confused with the complexities. When we develop an application, there are many much complexities involved in the background. So we hide all those complexities and just provide the essential information or the information which is needed for the outside world. The best example I gave is here Google search engine. We just type the keywords on the Google search engine and we have the results in our hands. We never thought that what is going on in the backend, that it is providing such fast results, or what it took, how does it process the results in the backend, because it is a complex process and Google does not provide us that complexities that you go and search in those. It just gave us the UI that you just type and I will get the results. So that is the best example of abstraction, that it is just providing you the essential information which is needed to you. You know, just end results, that is the links. And we have our data in our hand, we have our information in our hand. So our end user just gets the endpoint. Second becomes on encapsulation. So encapsulation is the binding of the data members. What comes under data members? Under data members, we have two things, variables and its properties. Then we have member functions, that is methods, into a single unit. We just bind together all these things so that the outside world cannot access it, or we are restricting access to just that binding unit. Or when we're defining something under the same name, then we are restricting access to just that name only. We are not giving access to others also, that they come and access it. That is called an encapsulation. Best example in Java you can give for encapsulation is a class. So we can say that everything in a Java starts with a class. So everything in Java is defined under encapsulation. In encapsulation, we say we have classes, we restrict the class access to just that class. We do under the same package, different classes can access each other methods, each other functions, but different packages we cannot access. There we restricted the access. If we are working on a different package, we cannot access a class which is used in different package. There we restricted the access. There that is called encapsulation, that we binded all the units into a single unit. Now comes inheritance. Anyone have doubts in these two, abstraction or encapsulation? Anyone want to ask something? Okay. So let's move on to our next paradigm, that is inheritance. So what is an inheritance? Inheritance is the ability to create a new class from an existing class, as called inheritance. Using inheritance, we create a child class from parent class such that it inherits the properties of our parent class and its methods. Additionally, it can have its own properties. It can have its own methods, but it can use all the properties, all the methods of the parent class. Here we have this example of a vehicle which has properties like color, it has its color, it has its price, etc. So we can create two classes. We have wait a second. We have two classes, bike and car. Both of them have different properties and they have different additional properties that are specialized for them. For example, car will have number of windows and bike cannot have that. Same is applicable to methods. We have different methods for different classes. Next we have is polymorphism. Just give me 5 minutes back. Yeah, so we were on inheritance. Sorry for the delay. I- So what is inheritance? Inheritance, we can say that we are creating a new class from an existing class. Best example we can take of our family tree. We inherit our properties. We have various similarities to our parents. Most of us listen that you have this action, you are doing this action like your parent. So there, those things we inherit are from our parents, but definitely we have our own speciality on talents, own properties. That is where we define the inheritance much appropriately. Last paradigm in object oriented is polymorphism. So polymorphism means having many forms. Typically, polymorphism occurs when there is a hierarchy of classes and they are related by inheritance. Polymorphism implementation is done with the help of inheritance. We use inheritance while we are using a hierarchy of classes that is used in inheritance. C++ polymorphism is that there's a call to other member function, but in Java, we don't call to other member function, rather than we assign the reference variable to another object of the class. There, if we suppose we have two classes defined under inheritance, let's suppose we have a parent class defined and we have another child class defined. We have two classes defined. So we make an object of the child class and we assign the reference variable of the parent class. That is, it can use the properties of both. It can call the methods of both. There it is called polymorphism. Any doubts? Anyone? Yeah, Bhavish.
Hello,
Yes.
audible?
Yeah.
I want to ask, if we create a reference variable of parent class,
Yeah.
we will not be able to assess the members that are newly defined in the child class.
Yes.
The use of polymorphism there, we have defined a new term named polymorphism in Java.
Polymorphism is, I will tell you, we are going to learn it in more deeply in our future classes. That polymorphism is done in two ways. That is overriding and overloading methods. In overriding methods, we have same number of arguments. We can redefine them. We can redefine the properties. Suppose we have methods of same name under, we have a method in parent class walk, we have a method in child class walk. So the child class can define it in its own way. It is not compulsory that it has to use the same method which is written in the parent class. There the polymorphism can take the different forms. It can help us to access the method which we want to use. Definitely it
Ma'am,
will help.
I agree with that
Yeah.
method, which is from the parent class.
Okay.
With parent
Okay.
class reference, I will not be able to assess that method, newly defined method. So what's the use of
Well, polymorphism, that is, I am telling you, you will not be able to access when you define a parent class object. But when we define child class object, there you can access. When we use inheritance, we have restrictions that some of the restrictions that we cannot access private members. If we have some private members in the parent class, you cannot access it through child class. Different inheritance have different restrictions. Their polymorphism can help. If you are assigning a reference variable of another class, there it will help. You can access those members also.
I can add on this. In inheritance, we take some methods and properties and we add on to those properties and methods. Okay. Now in polymorphism, we change those methods for our purposes. Okay, we are not adding on to them. We are changing for our purpose in polymorphism. That's the main difference between polymorphism and inheritance.
And we have one doubt from Aishwarya. I had we invoke a method by using object.method name. So in system print.iln, why is system return first? I guess Aishwarya, you missed that slide where I had explained the different parts of the program. That why system return first. First of Bhavish, is your doubt clear?
not
Bhavish?
exactly?
But
I'm
you will
not
get to
able to get.
learn more when we will learn it in more deeply polymorphism. You will get to know that what advantages it has because it is implemented using two things, overriding and overloading, which has different advantages. You will get to know.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So we have one doubt from Aishwarya that why system written first. So we have our parameter use system.out.println and print statement. So we have system a class, which is a main class for printing our statements. We can use system.out.print, system.out.print, or simply we can use print also in Java, which is not known to many. We can use just like print in Java. We have three ways. We mostly tend to use two ways just because it is an object-oriented programming language, and system is a class which binds out the various properties of the our printing stream class and other classes which are used to print the statements. So system is button first so that we can invoke that class, we can refer to that class, and then we write out which is the object of that print stream class. And println or print is a method of the print stream class. Is your doubt clear, Aishwarya? Aishwarya.
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay, anyone, any other doubt? Anything we have learned today? Astha, Avesh, Manvi, Nadia, Leona, Vivek, Shweta. Anyone, any doubt? If you guys don't have any doubt, then I'm closing this and I'm having a Q&A session for you all. Let's see who understood. So still I'm asking if anyone has any doubt. Astha, Aishwarya, Nitish.
Ma'am, check the chat window. Everyone's replying over
Yeah.
there.
Okay, okay. Okay, we have. So let's have a session, Q&A session. Let's see how much we all got to know from today's session. Is everyone willing? Okay, so my first question is, who designed the Java language and when? No Google, not anything, just answer. If you remember, it's okay. Then if you don't, I have who and when, not just who. Okay. Anyone? 1995, 1989. No, 1971 is you got very much back. Anyone? 1991. Yeah, Nadia is right. 1991. Java is designed in 1991 by James Gosling. And many of us are saying 1995. Then 1995 was a year where our Java first version, that is Java 1.0, was introduced. Yeah, Adnan, they got top 10 best in that year. It was written as the top 10 best language of by Times Magazine. You remember? So my first another question, which was the first name given to the Java language? The Java language was not original name. Yeah. Oh, okay, many of us got correct. So Java language name was given in 1995. Where did the James Gosling got the idea to name the language? How did he? Ireland. Unmute and say a complete answer. And island, coffee, cafe. Cafe? No. Yeah, coffee. So we have got from the island where the first coffee was inaugurated. And from there, only James Gosling got the idea to name the Java language while having the coffee in his near his office. Logos. Exactly. लोगों से पता लगता है। ओके, so two basic object oriented paradigm used in Java language. Object and class, yeah. Only two students know. I guess we have 12 participants and I have just some of them replying. Why is it so? Println, no, println is not main. Class and object is the right answer, Adnan. Two basic object oriented. We have six object oriented paradigms, out of which four I listed on the second slide, and first two I have listed that are the basic, that is class and object. Without class and object, you cannot write program in Java. So they are the most two basic. All you said println, main, void will come after then only. Yeah, that I also, but I asked main basic. Okay, so we have most of them giving the right answer, class and object. Cool. So I have listed here 4 Java IDs. 3 I explained through the slide. One was also there. I would like to know the name of that ID. 3 I listed it in my slide, and one ID I said which most of the developers use. Eclipse I listed in my slide. Eclipse, yeah, VS Code, Bhavesh Goel is right, VS. And Adnan. Eclipse I listed in my slide. Yeah, Adnan, I said VS. Yeah, Shweta, Eclipse is most preferred, and obviously we are going to use Eclipse if I completed the course. And Eclipse is one of the most preferred language. I also most preferred ID, and I also prefer it since it auto completion is very much preferable. It auto completes the code very easily, and it has Git support also. It has debugging also. So it's completely Sublime. Manvi, you use Sublime. I never use Sublime. Is an idea I am listening. I don't know about it. I mostly use 4 IDs. That is, you can say Eclipse, VS Code. Okay, Sublime good for web development. But I would say that we use Eclipse or IntelliJ, which are good for everything. There you can design mobile applications. It has different plugins for it. You just need to download the plugins and you can run it in it. You just don't have to download different plugins, different IDs for different development. You download for mobile best. I prefer Android Studio. Okay, great. DS plus Algo in this session. I guess Aistha, we don't have DS plus Algo. DS plus Algo, we have different course running through our EA platform. But we are going to learn collection, which is called the data structures of our Java. And it makes very much things easy when we go for Java development. In our interview, the first thing that is most preferred is collection. If you know collection, you know very much about Java. It offers very much flexibility, that all the things. In collections, we have array list and hash mapping, all those things, which are definitely going to help you in the long run. Yeah. Anyone have any question, or someone got any question from my questions? Want to ask? how we have got selected for this course. Bhavish, this definitely, I don't know, this was maintained by backend team. I don't know about this. But you should be happy. You applied and you got selected. I think Java is sold and it needs to be compatible for past versions. And we have got so many versions. I told you Java is sold and till now we have the latest version which is running is Java 14. So we have launched 14 versions, but the most stable version we have, would say is Java 8, which is compatible to most of the system. It is compatible to most of the system. You have written a code in older versions also, it will run in our new systems also. You just have to download that. We have some things new in our version, but new versions are coming, but they are all supporting the previous versions, all the things. What do you think is the future of Java with many other programming languages evolving? So, Nadia, we have future of Java. Java is never going to be obsolete. Java is still the second most profit language in the world. We have so many languages in our world: C++, C, Java, Kotlin, Python, you can say, and many other to be listed. But still, Java stands on the second positions today in the world. You can think that what position it will hold. We have, I guess I have shown a slide which is showing the stats of the Java. We have a 9 billion mobile phones running on Java. We have 37 million desktops running on Java. So it is most preferred language. And most of the mobile applications are running on Java. Kotlin is never going to take over Java. This I can assure you. At that time, Kotlin will obsolete. If Flutter will evolve, Kotlin will definitely become obsolete. But Java is not going to obsolete because Java supports everything: web development, mobile development, enterprise application development, everything. Okay, so okay, Nadia, I will definitely explain that slide again. And I have question one from Aishwarya. What is enterprise Java? Enterprise Java is the Java which is used to develop applications for our enterprises, that is companies. Our companies are using different applications which they design according to them. We have our different softwares designed in enterprises. When we run a company, we have different softwares. We have, let's say, these days we have Salesforce, Pega. These softwares are used to design the applications. Such softwares are also used in our industry. There, enterprise Java comes into the role. Definitely, Java is a backbone of our IT industry. Without Java, IT industry cannot stand today. So Nadia, I would tell you what is the Java? Why you should prefer Java? So Java in this industry, I would say that Java is used for everything. You cannot think of a IT industry without Java. Every browser-based app, most of our browser-based app, Chrome, are running on Java. Java is a programming language which is used in all kinds of programming. Why? I would give you the reason: because it is machine independent. You just write the code once and you can implement it everywhere. You just don't have to write it every time. That is the main reason that Java is never going to obsolete. It was the main idea to design that language. And this idea is still not implemented by any other. We have that language that is written once and we can run anywhere. From laptops to data centers, game consoles, scientific supercomputers, cell phones, we have Java everywhere. Let me give you the stats again. 97% of our enterprise desktop run Java. Yeah, you can use Java on any system using CM. No, you can. You just need to have JVM downloaded and you can run your applications. You just need to have JVM on that application and you can use your Java. applications. You can use the programs. If you have a mobile application, then definitely you are not going to run it through CMD. If you have a web application, you are not going to run it through CMD. You just need to have JVM on the machine. So 89% of our desktops, including our Windows, various programs are written in Java. In US, 89% of desktops are running on Java. So you can think that what future it holds today also, that even a country which is popular for IT, which is popular for new IT revolutions, their 89% desktops are running on Java. So you can think that what future it holds till date and what future it will have. 9 million Java developers we have in worldwide. First choice for developers is Java. First development platform preferred is Java. Our mobile phones are running on Java. More than 3 billion mobile phones we have running on Java. Our Blu-ray disc players ship with Java. 5 billion Java cards are in use. Even our TV devices are running on Java. So what else we can expect? That how can we think that Java will be taken over by other language? I don't think it is going to. If anyone else want to say anything. Okay. Anyone, any doubt? Tech is exciting only when new and better things come. Definitely, tech is and we have definitely new things coming in our Java. We have much improved versions with the Java 11, which I would say the second most stable we use after Java 8. We only use versions when they are run for more than 6 months. We call it stable. So the next version which our developers prefer, we developers prefer, is Java 11. It has new and better things coming. Every time the developments are happening, Oracle is creating new and better things in Java versions. So it is making Java and tech exciting at the same time. Anything else you have in your mind Java? Just clear your doubts that why should we learn Java? Anything? I'm here to help. That you think that I should learn this, or you think that I should not learn, there are other programming languages, I can learn that. Vivek. Yes, most of them have left the meeting when I started the question. Okay, 3 most preferred IDs in the industry. Answer.
What?
3 most preferred Java IDs in the industry. I explained in my slides. Yeah, NetBeans it is. Aishwarya first. Give all the 3 answers. If you don't mind me asking, can you tell us what you are doing in the industry? Well, I am a software developer in the industry, Nadia. I am a software developer and I'm currently placed with the Optum company where I am responsible for developing applications, working on various projects. And this is something which I like to teach. I personally like Java language very much because of its flexibility, that I don't have to write multiple codes, and its speed, everything is just suitable. So I like this. That's what I'm. And right now I am a software developer placed with Optum company, working there as a software developer. if I want to do internships in Java, then how much knowledge I need? I guess if you want to do good internships in Java, then at least you need knowledge of JSPs and all. Core Java, everything, but collections and servlets are the most things that are used. Great to answer that, Nadia. Glad you asked. So if you want to do internships, core Java internships are also there where you can do, but when we go for internships, I have seen that what was preferred was that do you know collections? Okay, let's go with questions with collections. Do you know, have you worked on JSP projects? Do you know servlets? That is where. Anything else? All clear. Glad. Okay. Object-oriented paradigm which is used with the help of inheritance. Let me see you answer it. Without yeah, polymorphism. I guess he was in very hurry to answer that. They don't have writing proper. Okay. For hiding details, background details, what we prefer? No, Adnan, we do not prefer encapsulation. Yeah, abstraction is the right answer. Encapsulation is used for binding all the units into single unit. That is where encapsulation comes in the picture, and everything in the Java is, you can say the best example of encapsulation is the class. So you can say that everything in Java starts with encapsulation where we are binding all the things in this. Always confused. Even I got confused when I was starting learning these object-oriented paradigms back in my 11th class. I also tend to get confused. Okay, great. You all are very, but I'm seeing that most of them have left. Shweta, Vivek, you guys are not answering. Yeah, I learned object-oriented paradigms and all. I started programming in 11th class. Okay. So you guys don't have any doubt related to Java? I guess you will have a great session tomorrow where we will help you installing the JDK and will have, how long is this course by? So for the scholarship, you can say it is for 2 days, today and tomorrow, 2 hour session each. And when you will enroll in this course, it is 15 days for core Java and 15 days for advanced Java, as far as it is in my knowledge. Can artificial intelligence happen with Java? Definitely artificial intelligence happen with Java. I know most of us are thinking that Python is mostly preferred. You can use any language which you would like to use in machine learning or artificial intelligence. One of the basic reasons that developers use Python is that it is easy to learn and they do not want to learn an extra language over for using it. But definitely if you know Java, you can use it artificial intelligence with Java. There are ample of courses you can learn in artificial intelligence with Java. Even machine learning in Java, you can implement algorithms in Java. I had implemented one with Java, machine learning. So definitely I think it's better with Python. It's better with Python because Python is very much more than 1,000 libraries already defined, that's why it is preferred. But definitely the latest version with Java released, it is also supporting most of the libraries. And I guess in coming future, the newer versions are definitely going to overtake Python. This I can assure you. It is going to take. You can implement. I have implemented a machine learning algorithm with it, Java. You can use to design mobile applications. You can use in web development, Java. Okay, what was the best part in today's session that you like? Like to know. All the 6 participants, I want to know. Very interactive. Okay. When you will join the course, definitely you are going to love the course. With not basic knowledge, you are going to learn many new things. I would definitely try to give as much as knowledge which I learned. When I was learning online, I didn't got to know many things which I got to learn in Core Java when I got started learning. Many new things I discovered, that is file class, how input stream class is different, output stream class is different, how file class is implemented, which is definitely one of the most important things that we all have hidden files in our computer. And I got the hidden files of other computers through the Java program. Definitely, you are going to enjoy the course when you are going to learn. I guess others don't like that I just have 3 persons answering here. Shweta, Meghna, Bhavesh. Oh, so I just learned your way of teaching is easily understandable. Oh, thanks, Meghna. Was great. If anything you have missed, I'm definitely here to explain it again. You want to know anything. And I guess you will get these recordings. Cool, excited for tomorrow's session. You are going to love tomorrow's session. You will going to implement your first program in Java. Yeah. Okay. Now you are done with questions. I have questions. Why do we use static in our main function in our method defining? We use static keyword. What is the use of that static keyword? Let's see who answered. No idea about syntax. Okay, it's okay. Class name required, object node. Yeah, Bhavesh, right. To invoke without out object. Yeah, Aishwarya. Anyone else? Any other answer or any doubt on this topic? Okay. What for string args we use? No, Meghna, it is not for it is same for every instance in the class. We use it because we don't need any object to be created for invoking our static methods. Whenever we define a method with a static keyword, we do not require to define any object. We just invoke it using the class name, and that is why we have main method as a static method, because when JVM starts its execution, it starts from main method and it does not need to have an object to get started with. It can definitely directly search for main method. So that's why we have static keyword mentioned there. And right, Bhavish and Aishwarya are right about the string IRGS, that is their command line argument. Yeah. Okay. Return keyword we used in main method. Return method. What is the keyword we used for returning and why in main method? Void. Yeah. Why? No one knows why. Because our main method does not return anything, and void is just means that it does not want to return any output. It it does not return any it does not return any output, you would not say. It just does not return anything. Yeah, main method is answerable to JVM. It execution start from JVM and it ends at the main method only. Great. I am glad that you all enjoyed the session and you remember these things. Okay, public keyword we use. What does the speciality it has? That why do we use public keyword only in main method? Why not private, protected? We can use. Why only public keyword? Yeah, accessible to all. Right. Yeah, Meghna, you are right. Bhavish, right. Okay. Yeah, Aishwarya. I am waiting for more answers. I guess we have others also. Adnan. Visible to everyone, accessible to everyone, you can say. Visible to everyone, you can also say. Okay. So, my last question. System.out.println. Just tell me the class for out method or println method. They use a same class. They're a method. Println is a method of the class, and class system. No, system is the class in which, yeah, Aishwarya is right, print stream. Class system is a class, but the method is that out is an object of the print stream class, and the println is the method defined in print stream class. Object is out. What do you mean by that, Bhavesh? Yeah, object is out. Out is the object of the print stream class. What was the question? My question was that what was the class name for which the out is the object and println is the method of that class? That was my question, Bhavish. Yeah, Aishwarya answered it correctly. Okay, so that's all from my side. Any doubts, anything that still you want to ask? We have 10 minutes if anyone want to ask anything. No, ma'am, all clear. Okay. Can you suggest some resources for self-learning on Java? Well, self-learning of Java. I haven't used much resources because I got a very good teacher for learning Java. But enterprise Java preferably. You can use W3 schools. It is the most preferred site for learning. W3 schools or I mostly use W3 schools for learning or Gigs for Gigs you can use. Could you please tell what print stream is? Yeah, print stream is Meghna, we have different classes in our Java modules already defined, which are encapsulated in different packages. For example, we have util package we use, we have mathematics package we use, math.class. Thereafter, we have the main class, that is system class defined in our Java. And there the system class also contains a class which is known as print stream, for which is used for printing the different things on in our Java programs. System.println and systemout.print are the methods of print stream class, where the out is the object for that print stream class. So print stream is just a class which offers you different ways to print the output through your Java program, or printing anything which you want to print or want to show on your screen, that is done through print stream class using the methods of these print stream class. Anything else? Meghna, is your doubt clear, or you want, or it is not? Meghna. Okay. With example and output. If you have seen like system.out.println, okay, let me take you to that slide where I explain this print stream class. So system.out.println is used to print statements. For example, if you have used any other programming language, when we start the program, we say enter a number. So we use system.out.println inverted commas. Wait, let me write it for you. I will write it here only. System.out.println enter your name. When we write this statement, there the out is an object of print stream class where we are using print stream class. It will call the print stream, it will call the println method from the print stream class, and the println method will print this argument which we pass, that is enter your name. It will print it on the screen. When you will run the program, it will show on your screen enter your name. That is what the print stream class do. Actually, print stream is a class which has different method defines, and println and print are the two basic methods which are defined, which accepts the arguments and show it on your screen. So whatever you pass in these brackets, that is got printed on your screen, that is shown on your screen, which is done with the help of these two methods, println and print. Println is used to take the cursor in your new line when you write enter your name, and then it will take your cursor to the new line. Whereas print will not take your cursor to the new line, it will stay there. It will stay there till enter your name, then it will stay there only, it will not go to the new line. We'll learn more about it tomorrow. Anything else? Meghna, still clear or not? Your voice is not audible, Meghna. I guess yeah, you are not audible. Just say. Meghna, it's okay. You can write in the chat box only. If you're not able to. Meghna, you want to ask anything? We have just 3 minutes left for the meeting. You can't hear your doubts. Speak. Okay, if you guys don't have any doubt. Meghna, you have still have doubts? Sorry, the meeting ended abruptly.